So let's take a look at the different ways to hold a gyuto or a chef's knife. Often in the West, we tend to hold chef's knives with a pinch grip, something like this, or a little further back in this fashion. This is a common way to teach young cooks how to hold their knives. Your hand is occupying space, and you're not actually able to use this part of the edge in a Japanese style with your finger on the blade and your hand much further back on the handle. You end up freeing up the heel of the knife and allowing yourself to use the entire length. Another advantage to holding a knife like this is the position of your wrist. When you're cutting with this grip, your wrist is very neutral and relaxed. Your hand is relaxed as well. Your finger is running along the top bevel here of the octagonal handle. And when you cut, there's very little motion or movement in your wrist. Most of the movement comes from the bigger muscles in your shoulder, chest, and arm. In a pinch grip, you can see immediately there's a lot more arc in my wrist. Your wrist is very slightly flexing every time you cut, and this can really tire out your whole arm. Cutting in this fashion, again with your finger 45 degrees along the spine, as opposed to on top, 45 here. This gives you a much more relaxed posture. The only things that they're really particular with, slicing of fish always has to be done with yanagiba, of course, or deba, depending on what you're doing. So that's exclusive to single bevel knives. And then Katsuramuki always with either usuba or kiritsuke or mukimono bocho. Other than that, it's kind of up to you, whatever you want to use. If you need to have the same quality of product, if you need to have absolutely perfect vegetable cuts, absolutely perfect yield when it comes to breaking down fish, I think that the Japanese approach is better. You're able to get more precise, more accurate, cleaner results, but they often do take more time. So in some kitchens, time is more a priority than quality. Standing properly, both in the West and in Japan, are just as important. I don't think it's really like a Japanese style or a Western style, but it's just something that people tend to forget a lot, right? People, when you're tired, if you're not thinking about it, if you're really busy, you sort of forget about how you're standing and just do the job. But yeah, it is really important to have good posture. And
But how to hold a knife is a part of that.
definitely, yeah. There's especially today, there's so many alternatives to knife cuts, whether it's buying, you can buy like vegetables that are already cut in bags. You can buy, instead of doing a knife technique like this, you can just buy a really beautiful flower and put that on your plate as well. The thing about these machines or alternatives to cutting techniques is you can use them as much as you want, but you'll never get any better. Your skill will never improve, so you'll always be at the same level. You are slower at first, you put the time in and you learn the techniques. Every time you do it, you'll get better. Every time you do it, you'll get faster. And then by the time you've put a few years in, your skill will be at a totally different level than when you started. And then you have that your whole life. Especially in front of customers, knife techniques were really, really important.
When you first came to Japan, you had to go to school, right?
Yeah, part of the program was a
school,
month
right?
in cooking school in Kyoto, yeah.
So was that focused? Was a lot of it focused on knife skills?
A lot of it was focused on knife skills. A lot of it was on Katsuramuki, which is great. I didn't really understand why they were so focused on Katsuramuki. Like, why would that be the focus of all the cutting techniques? But really, when you come into a Japanese kitchen, one of the first things that to see is Katsuramuki, how good you are. If you're not very good at Katsuramuki, it doesn't matter whether you're great at fish butchery. They won't even let you touch it. So they're looking at how good you are at these sort of basic techniques. And if you're very good, they'll let you do more and they'll give you new jobs to do. But until you've mastered Katsuramuki, it's very hard to move up in the kitchen, sort of the wall. I went to, in the same year as me, there was a sous chef from a Michelin star restaurant with me. He's amazing. He had never done Katsuramuki before, so of course he didn't know how to do it very well. And they didn't really let him do very much at the restaurant. They gave him really easy jobs, a lot of like peeling, cleaning, washing, and that kind of thing. And he's like a Michelin starred executive chef, right? And he's so good at so many things. His recipes, his other knife techniques are really, really good, but just because he couldn't do Katsuramuki very well, they weren't using him to his full potential.